Hello, friends, and welcome back to Orbit Shift, a place where I work with you to take your thoughts, feelings, and actions to the next level of impact. Now, sometimes in hushed conversations and sometimes in explicit debates, we have been wondering why homes feel cold, workplaces now feel political, society feels unsafe. Many of us possibly attribute this to the lack of manners and the way people are living their life. But this is not just a manners problem. This is a civility issue. And for that, and to discover this and understand this and to make the change that we can make in our lives and in our families' lives, in our organizations, there's one question that we don't ask enough. And that is, what kind of human beings are we becoming? And yes, this question needs to be asked pretty much everywhere, to our own selves, in our families, in our social circles, in our organizations, in our institutions, pretty much everywhere. We, as mankind, as humankind today, need to ask this question. And the answer to this question is not about how successful we are, how educated we are, how modern we are, or how connected we are. No, it's about how human are we. Because something strange has happened to all of us. Today, we live in an age where we have a lot more communication but very less connection, a lot more comfort but very less gratitude, a lot of education, but quite rare is refinement and character. A lot of rights but very little responsibility. Much expression is there in our society, especially with social media, but very little restraint. A lot of networks, but hardly any genuine concern. And slowly, the basic fabric of human decency is tearing apart. People don't listen, people snap, people use, people discard. You and I manipulate, you and I treat relationships like transactions, you and I treat public space like nobody owns them. We people, we treat animals, nature, and shared resources as if they exist only for our convenience, one person's convenience, one society's convenience. Worst of all, in this world today, people play the victim card all the time to their advantage and exploit whatever system that they can exploit. And then we wonder why homes feel cold, workplaces feel political, and society feels unsafe. This is not a manners problem. This is not about saying please or thank you. Civility is deeper than etiquette and manners. Civility is the discipline of treating life with dignity, the dignity of another person, the dignity of a child, the dignity of a spouse, the dignity of an employee, the dignity of an organization, the dignity of an adult, an elder, the dignity of animals, the dignity of nature, the dignity of our shared spaces, and even the dignity of our own self. Because a person who has no real regard for their self eventually loses regard for everything else, everyone else. And I'm not talking about the majority running around with boosted egos and false pride and, I choose my choice kinds. No, I'm talking about regard for the real human soul that we are. Now, let's be fair. Good hasn't disappeared from the society. There are still families where people serve each other without keeping accounts. There are still children who care for their parents and care with genuine bhava or genuine emotions. There are still leaders who genuinely protect, teach, coach their teams. There are still neighbors who help without posting it online. There are still people who feed animals, plant trees, keep public places clean, speak with warmth, even when no one is watching. So good exists. Good absolutely exists. But the problem is that all of this good is pretty private and the bad is becoming pretty public. The decent person is quiet. The aggressive person, loud. The caring person is tired. The selfish person is shameless. The sincere person hesitates. The manipulative person performs blatantly and has a lot of support from other manipulative people who think they should take whatever they want to take. And when bad behavior becomes confident, society starts declining, and we've been declining for a good number of decades now. We've been declining, and it's only accelerating. You look at data around, several studies which have studied civility show that people across the world are heavily exposed to rude, dismissive, disrespectful behavior at work and in society. We see so many reports of workplace conflicts, conflicts in metros, conflicts in airports, conflicts on the road, you name it. And the family conflicts, we've heard enough and more horror stories. It's come to such extent that people are killing people for like petty reasons. There are several researches which have found that almost a third of us have witnessed rude public behavior in the last 7 days. There's tons of reports about engagement in the workplaces being worse than where it possibly was about a decade back. And all of that with all the advancements that we've had. Now, just pause and think. Why are people disengaged at work, rude in public, defensive in conversations, aggressive in disagreement, and lonely on the inside? What kind of society have we built? What kind of society will such disengaged, rude, defensive, aggressive, lonely people build? And that will be a society of low trust. We, each one of us today, is building a society of low trust, because we may not have all the problems of engagement, rudeness, defensiveness, aggressiveness, loneliness, etc. But from all the civility problems, each one of us has some civility problem. And that's why we have become such a low trust society today. In our low trust societies, our low trust homes, where every sentence has become an explanation. In that low trust society, our low trust marriages, where every act is doubted today. In this low trust society is the low trust workplace, where every decision is becoming politics. And this is workplaces of all kinds, be it corporates or NGOs or government institutions, everywhere. In this low trust community today that we have, everyone will ask, what will I get? Nobody really asks, what is right? What can I do for the society? This is where civility is collapsing really badly, because we have become a society where we have forgotten that my behavior affects more than me. My behavior affects other human beings, other animals, other lives. My behavior affects the nature. The very existence of our life is collectively being impacted by each one of us. But modern individualism, and that's a big problem. Too much of individualism in the name of this, that, and the other. Everybody wants an individualistic explanation and expression, And their explanation is what? It's my life, I will choose. And that modern individualism has quietly taught people the opposite. My comfort is supreme. My mood is justification. My truth is enough. My desire is right. My success is goal. My pain excuses my behavior. Yes, there have been exploitation of individuals, but there are some people who have taken activism so far that they have built this whole movement of individualism so conveniently around their eco bubbles for their own political positioning and their rights. This is not freedom. This is not justified individualism and individual rights. This is plain, refined selfishness. It's just intellectualized selfishness. And this has entered even love. Much of what we call love today is just bargaining. You look at all forms of love. And when I say love, I'm not talking about just the romantic love. Look at all forms of love. There are people who will say, I care for you, so you must obey me. I sacrificed for you, so you must live according to me. I helped you, so now you owe me one. I am being nice to you, so you must validate me. I am giving, but please notice how much giving I am. And these are the voices of almost all relationships around me, whether it's your marriage, your parent-child relationship, your relationship with friends, your children, your relationship with your workplace. And this is not love. This is basically just emotional accounting. This is basically just social accounting that we have introduced to everything that is there. Now, the other side is also equally painful. There are some people who are genuinely sacrificing, genuinely serve, genuinely care, but they're treated as if goodness has no value. Because there's a selfish bunch of people who think that they deserve that goodness and they'll take it and not acknowledge it. Their effort is taken for granted. Their silence is used, right? And that silence being used is the most painful part. Their patience is exploited. Their love is consumed, but not respected. One side manipulates in the name of care. The other side suffers in the name of care. The one side manipulates in the name of love. The other side suffers in the name of love. Both sides of our society have really forgotten the dharma of a human life. At home, look at what is happening. At home, the loss of civility looks small at first. Nobody greets properly. Nobody eats together. Nobody listens fully. Children are spoken to harshly by parents. Parents are spoken harshly to by children. Parents humiliate children in the name of discipline. Children humiliate parents in the name of not giving them enough. Spouses become roommates with shared expenses. Elders become neither controlling nor ignoring. They are hanging somewhere in between. Gratitude totally disappeared. A home can have furniture, food, devices, money, and degrees. It may not have any warmth. It's just a house. A house full of furniture, a house full of food, a house full of devices, a house full of people, a house full of money, a house full of various accolades doesn't become a home. At work, look at the loss of civility and how unprofessional our work is becoming. People say noted, but that means I don't really care. People say as discussed, but then it means I'm just protecting myself. People will BCC hundreds of people just to cover their track. People will say with due respect and then really not show any respect at all. People will say let's celebrate, and then really the celebration is only about tom-tomming about a few. People will celebrate collaboration in presentations and then practice selfishness in the corridor. Right? In front of everybody, they'll say, we will promote talent, but then ultimately you are protecting your yes men or yes women or your handy men or handy women. Real talent, where is it? You don't want to listen to real talent because real talent is threatening to you. What are we doing? And this is why many workplaces today are just communities of existence, not communities of contribution. They are arenas of just guarded survival of people. In our society, look at what civility is, going to. Public places, dirty, rules broken all the time. When no one's watching, when someone's watching, either ways, rules are broken. Animals are abused. Nature is consumed without any reverence. In the name of holidaying, you are going to newer places and destroying them completely. Leaving your waste behind, leaving your bad energies behind. Resources are wasted, noise is ignored, queues completely jammed, roads, harsh places to be. Common property is now treated as if it's no one's responsibility. Everybody points a finger at somebody else, some to the agency, some to the governance. The real test of civilization is not how we behave when there is punishment. The real test of civilization is a cultured is how we behave when there is no policing, no punishment. A cultured person does not need constant policing at all. A cultured person carries what we call in Vedas the inner maryada to exist, the jiva maryada, the manushya maryada, the maryada or the mannerisms or the character of and the boundaries of a living being, of a human being. And that's where the problem is. Hope this narrative has helped settle into your head how serious this issue is. It cannot be anymore dealt with in hushed conversation or some explicit debates. Each one of us needs to live some of this. So what do we do about it? If we are willing to, here are some things which will help make a difference starting from now in our homes, in our circles, at our workplaces. Number one, Let's bring back the dignity rule. And this is the most important thing. And dignity here is what? Dignity of all kinds. Before any speech, any thought, any act, we need to ask this question: that will this thought, will this speech, will this behavior, will this action preserve the dignity of the other person or the resources or the situation? We have to be that responsible. And this is not about looking for agreement or approval. This is purely about looking at dignity. We can correct with dignity. We can use resources with dignity. We can use space with dignity. We can refuse with dignity. We can disagree with dignity. We can set boundaries with dignity. We can call out the negatives or the bad behaviors with dignity, doing things with dignity. That's the first thing that we need to learn. It's an important lesson that many of us need to train. Many of us will not be able to wrap our head around what really dignity is, and we really need some training from experts on this. That's the first place where civility will start returning. The second place, in our lives and everywhere, we need to restore gratitude and do it as a daily discipline. From our homes to our office, everywhere we need to practice some visible acts of gratitude for what is there. Thanking the person for cooking, thanking the person for opening the gate of our society, thanking the person who cleaned our car, thanking the person who earned something or gifted us something, thanking the person who possibly gave us way on the road, thanking the child who tried, thanking the employee who stayed late, thanking the employee who came early and got something done, thanking that employee who gave you that little hint which saved the big day for you, even though they had nothing to do with it, thanking the parents who quietly carried the responsibility for years and still sometimes called to check on you, thanking your children who, despite whatever craziness of their life, possibly don't let you know as parents how crazy their life is and still care for you. Gratitude is not just a soft emotion. It's a social glue. It's an act where you say, I see you. Like that movie Avatar where it's used to say, I see you. Gratitude is really saying to the other person, I see you, I see what you're doing, and I see the value of that. Third, let's stop rewarding any selfish confidence that we have. At home, let the loudest person not be at the center of all the attention. Choose the wise ones. At work, do not promote the most political or the most savvy person just because they can get results in whichever way. Choose the dharmic ones who possibly are still a little slower, but they will do things without consequences for somebody else. In our society, do not admire the people who are bold and in the face of their current existing success, but uncultured. Look at the ones who possibly still are under the radar and are doing some great work. We really need to choose our icons and our standards very carefully. That's what the third rule says. Stop rewarding selfish confidence and choose the right icons, the right standards for our behavior. Fourth one, we need to practice clean care and love. Care and love without control, right? Help without really, making the other person pay a huge emotional bill towards you. Love without manipulation. Service without, showing them or showing others a sense of superiority. Sacrifice, but keep self-respect. If you care, if you really care, don't use it to trade or barter for something else. Just express that care and leave it. That's purity. If you love, if you respect, if you help, don't use it as a barter for somebody else, something else. Don't walk around as if you did something and somebody owes you. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes us anything. That's how we have to live our life. And it's not utopian, it's civil. That's what it is. This is not about being utopian. If you care, and if your care is being exploited, then protect it. If you love and you serve and that is being exploited, then protect it. Otherwise, don't ask for returns. Fifth, and a very important action that you need to do is we need to rebuild our shared space and resource discipline. towards nature, towards all the public places. We need to keep our public places cleaner. We need to stop wasting food, water, electricity, time, space, attention of people. We need to stop creating unnecessary ruckus on the road, unnecessary noise. We need to treat animals much better, our parks, our living spaces much better. We need to stop treating nature and all the places around as dumping grounds. How a person treats things around them which cannot turn back and retaliate or reward them either ways, that really shows human character. And that's something that we need to do. Like for many of us, instead of throwing garbage out, wet garbage especially, can we compost? Really an aspect of character, because it takes time to do these kind of things. It takes energy. Sixth, and a very important one, in our families and in our workplaces, we need to start introducing the concept of maryada. And maryada comes from a combination of character and values and boundaries, essentially. At home, we need to get to the rules of no abuses, no public humiliation, no personal humiliation, no unnecessary fighting. You can argue but not fight. No mocking food, body, income, education, effort, approaches of life, mistakes. Why make fun over mistakes? Why call people names? No phones during family time, those kind of things. At workplace, can we look at rules like no gossip as influencing, no public shaming, no politicking to get ahead, no stealing the credit, no political deception, no leadership without listening but loud talk in the town halls. Some of this has to change in our workplaces. And seventh, let's come to practice one genuine act every day without any advertisement. You don't have to post everything on social media. Help someone without posting it. Feed an animal without making content on that. Apologize without defending yourself. Listen without checking your phone. Correct someone without insulting them. Without taking sides. Leave one space better than you found it. Those are some things that we need to do. This is where civility will come back. It's not going to come back by complaining, by debating, by slogans. It's going to come back through our content. Our society is not getting damaged by criminals. Our society is getting damaged by each one of us who's become extremely selfish. When ordinary people stop caring, when ordinary people stop listening, when ordinary people stop respecting, when ordinary people stop feeling, when responsible, especially for the effects of our behavior, we ordinary people are destroying our society. And once all of this stops, our society will be healed. And this is a global problem today. We need to heal ourselves, one person at a time, one home at a time, one meeting at a time, one conversation at a time, one act of restraint here, one act of gratitude, one act of genuine care. That's what we need to do. Instead of asking this question, what is society come around to? Society is not someone else. All of us are society. Society is in our speech. It's in our reaction. It's in our homes. It's in our workplaces. It's on our roads. It's on our screens. It's us. Society is our treatment of animals, our treatment of resources, our behavior on holidays and destinations that we go to. We need to ask ourselves, am I adding warmth or am I damaging others? Am I honoring others or am I using people? Am I contributing to society or am I consuming society? That's where basic human decency has to come in. Basic human decency is not utopian. Basic human decency is not old-fashioned. It is the foundation of civilization. Without it, all our wealth, and we have a lot of wealth in society today, all our wealth has become vulgar. Without civility, education today has become arrogance. Without civility, freedom today has become selfishness. Without civility, power today has become cruelty. Without civility, love today has become transactions. A civilized person is not one who knows table manners or which fork to use or to make way at a door, etc. A civilized person is one whose presence makes anyone feel safer, loved, cared, cleaner, kinder. A civilized person is somebody in whose presence others feel dignified, surroundings feel dignified. That is the civilized person. That is civility. That's the true human standard that we have lost, and hope each one of you listening to me will do something to restore that. I will see you very soon with another critical topic like this. which will help us with our values. Till then, take good care, keep changing, bring back civility and goodness into the society. Thank you.